Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome to the show, everybody. Boy, today is the adventure of our lifetime. Some of us are having a bigger adventure than other people are having on this particular day. And I've got two great, did I say great people with me today? And I'm really excited
Three
about
times.
it. I did.
We had to work hard for those three.
I know. I want to introduce John Verico. He is my co-host, and he is actually been on the show a little bit, and he's going to be on a hell of a lot more here coming up because I'm going to be taking a little time off, and he's going to be helping out and all that kind of good stuff. So, John, welcome, and it's so great to have you here again.
It's always great to be part of this team, sir.
And but speaking of which, you have found out that we have got quite a good little team, don't we?
You've got a freaking awesome team, as we would say in Brooklyn.
We say that in Brooklyn. I had no idea.
No, actually, we say it a little bit differently, but on the air, we have to say freaking.
Well, I would love for you to introduce you. You know, first of all, I got to say this because we had a 15-minute meeting. I do this all the time. We have 15-minute meetings with people just to get to know them, get an idea. They know what we're doing. We know what they're doing and stuff like that. I have very rarely been able to keep it at 15 minutes, but an hour and a half was a little excessive, I thought. But Julie is so engaging, and we loved her so much that we ended up talking to her for a long time. So, John, would you like to introduce our guest of the hour?
Oh, there's no introduction needed. I mean, come on. Julie Edelman is a legend. She's an author, and I have to point out the fact that she just kind of went through Milton and fortunately came through unscathed. So I'm very happy to hear that. Julie, I'm so glad that this was going to be iffy for whether or not we were going to be able to record this show today. And we were worried about whether or not you were going to have power and all that other great stuff. And we are so thankful that you were able to come in and join us today. And I can't wait to hear more and learn more about you and your books and all the wonderful things that you are out there doing for the world, and particularly for women.
Well, thank you both. That's such a kind three greats, of which I'm one, and I'm a legend. I in my own mind, perhaps, but thank you. And now to know you think the same. Yeah, no, it's been a crazy few days, weeks here in the Sunshine State with Milton, and then before that, Helen. And my heart goes out. We've been pretty fortunate, and we don't have the devastation. It's like war zones, gentlemen. When you go into certain areas near the water, or even the canals, it's people's lives are gone. Their memories, 20, 30 years washed up. And then to have this second onslaught, which, as I said, fortunately wasn't quite as bad. But that's why you're here with Positive Radio. We're here because one has to take this, learn from it, obviously feel it because it's so harsh. And hopefully we can help them with a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of laughter, and whatever else we sprinkle in there.
Yeah, Julie, I just got to ask, do you find that people in Florida, I have a good friend that moved to Florida, and she's like, why'd we come here? And do you have people saying, we got to get out of this place?
I don't think before this last few weeks they were saying that. Now it got a little scary, but it's great here. I never thought, when you're growing up, you think of Florida back in the day as, when I'm old, when I'm Cratchit, I'm going to go down there, and just see. But it's really changed. It's got so much going on, and my home is basically in St. Pete. I'm up in the middle of the state right now to escape being near the coast, and I just love it, John. John, Kevin, have you been here?
Oh yes,
one time.
Well, you should come back, and I'll take you on a tour. But it's not the old Florida that you thought of when you were growing up. It's not like, ha ha, sweetie, come on, let's have some Geritol. It's 4 o'clock. It's, let's have a martini or margarita. So I love it here. So no, I don't think it's cringeworthy anymore. I think it's come on down worthy.
Well, and I tend to agree with you, except for the fact that as I've gotten older, my body's comfort zone for temperatures has gotten narrower. It's like, this is too cold, this is too hot, and those two things are getting closer and closer. And every time I've been in Florida in recent years, I've been like, I can't live here. It's too hot. God bless you for being able to do it. The humidity there for me and my wife, we just like, oh wow, it's great to visit. We can't stay for too long.
Well, it's great for one's hair, like today. What do you think? Huh? That's why
I think it looks great, actually.
Well, thank you. But yeah, I mean, I love the heat, so that for me is not an issue. And yeah, it can get a little steamy, particularly in the summer when it's 101 and the humidity is 1,000%. But you get used to it. And I'd rather be here. I miss the changing of the seasons though, because I'm a Jersey girl by birth, and lived up there for over 30-ish years. So I miss that. But other than that, yeah, I like being able to get on my bike and go biking, go swim. I'm an outdoors kind of lass, and I don't know. I just like looking at water. It's just very zen-like. Not when it's coming into my home, but when it's outside.
Except when we went there and we were tourists, so we did the touristy thing, and one of them is getting airboat rides. And the airboats are the ones that float on the top, and they got the propeller in the back.
Yes.
And as we were waiting to get on, the boy that was, or the young man that was helping us, he looked down at my feet and he said, I don't think I'd get any closer to that than you already are.
Gators.
And I looked down, there was a snake down there. It was like, and so when you're talking about the water is great until you see two eyeballs looking back at you.
Correcto. Yeah, that's true. Now we have sharks who visit us more frequently.
And you've got 18-foot pythons and
gators.
And gators that eat pythons and vice versa.
Vice versa, yeah.
Yes, whichever part they want.
So in any event, well, I would love for both of you to come to Seattle. Today, the temperature is going to be 65 degrees. It's sunny. It's
cold,
nice.
Cold.
Oh,
that's actually what we have in Pennsylvania right now too.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually only in the 70s here today, because with everything that just happened, it cleared out the air and the humidity. It'll bounce back up in a few days, but I actually even put a pair of jeans on today.
Really?
I did.
Wow. So, Julie, let's talk about you, because in some circles, in many circles, and especially the ones that have to do with housewives and women, you are very, very popular because of your book, The Accidental Housewife, which is where your career started. You've been on The View, you've been on news programs, you've been on daytime TV, and all of that, talking about better ways to be to do housework and that kind of stuff. And so you become. Did you ever think that you were going to be like, a star, a celebrity?
I did, but I didn't think I'd be holding a toilet brush instead of a microphone. Therein lies the difference. So, yes, well, actually, when I was in college, I thought I was going to be, one of the Today Show hosts or something like that, or making documentaries off in Zimbabwe. So, no, the path did not quite turn out as I thought it might. But it actually, you learn as you go on in life and you get a little more seasoned. It's okay. Things happen for reasons. And my Accidental Housewife came out of love, marriage, and a baby carriage, realizing that somebody had to clean those toilets, and the laundry landscaping my son's room had to be done. And my hubby at the time wasn't going to do it. So I had to. And that was challenging, because it was not, to your point, what I was prepared or thought I'd be doing, because I was also a career woman.
So tell us how it evolved from there. Where'd you take it?
Well, what happened was, as I shared with you, here I am. I'm trying to balance being a mom, being a daughter, being a wife, and also having a career. and something had to give. I couldn't do everything well. Nor did I really have the skills. You know, it wasn't like something I went to college for, to dust, mop, and do all these other things. But there's the old fashioned part of me that said, you know what, I'm also the woman here. And I said, somebody's got to do this to keep health inspectors at bay and my son from starving. So what began to happen, to your point, Kev, I was on The View, and I was just a lifestyle, not just, but I was a lifestyle expert. And I recognized that that was something anybody could be, and that I needed to figure out a way for women to really connect with me. That, coupled with the fact, by the time I was on The View, because I was doing these lifestyle segments, I was going through a divorce at this point. My father had just passed away, and my dog had wandered off and had a stroke and fell into the pool. He was older, so it was horrible, but it was like a perfect storm of life, me trying to figure out, okay, how do I navigate my way through this? And what came out of it was this persona, the accidental housewife, who is really someone trying to do it all, not prepared, and who accidentally fell into the role of having to take care of our home. And at the time when I was on The View, I went in to talk to Bill Getty, who was then the exec producer of the show. A wonderful man, and may he rest in peace, he's passed away. And I said, I've got a great idea. I'm going to call myself, or this, master of her domain. It was after Seinfeld's master of his. He said, that's cool, but I think there's a better idea here. And out of that just came the words, the accidental housewife, which I then took, started to do all these hacks, create and put them into a book, which were really unusual hacks. It was like using Alka-Seltzer to clean your toilet. And I would put two and I'd go, plop, plop, fizz, fizz, away will go your poop and whiz. And it actually works. But it really works. It works. And I did that on the Today Show. They did not, give me a 5-second lag. They let me say it. But the book, I then put them all into a book. And fortunately, the book became a bestseller because, not just because of the tips, yeah, they saved you time, it was easy, but I gave women permission to recognize, like me, who were trying to balance being a wife, a mother, and have a career and not lose their own sense of self. To say, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm not the only one struggling with this, and not to feel guilty. And from that, I formed a community of women that really began to resonate and built that under the Accidental Housewife persona, which is one of my greatest passions in my life, is connecting with women, helping to empower them, inspire them, and for us to embrace whom we are and to build then a community and now a sisterhood, as we'll get to.
Julie, because of some of the people that I've interviewed and had the opportunity to talk to, I like to delve into some of the things. As an example, there are not very many people, statistically speaking, if you look at the population of the United States, who have been on The View, who have been a focal point of The View for any period of time. Yet there are millions of people who watch that show. So can you give us a little behind the scenes kind of, not any dirt on anybody?
No, of course not.
I'm sure Whoopi is a marvelous human being. At least I hope she is. But just give us a little flavor of what it was like being on that show.
Well, it's cool. I was there before Whoopi was there. I was there actually when Barbara Walters
Wawa was there.
Was she growing? She was she is an icon. I mean,
Yes.
The inroads she made for women, much like Diane Sawyer, because back in the day when I was studying journalism and I was in school, communications, thinking, and as I said, that I'd be holding a microphone instead of the toilet brush, they were the women who inspired me. And Katie Couric, as she became. So these women, but answering your question, so I met, oh gosh, I gotta remember now, the people who were there. She's the comedian, Joy Behar.
Joy Behar.
Hysterical. And I remember her, they don't pull any punches. When I was on, I was talking about this great container that like a wallet that sort of, you opened it up and all these panels would come out. And so I said, here's a great way to keep your coupons. And she looked at me and said, you collect coupons? I don't see you cutting coupons. And, she was right. But it was also, I was trying to give women an idea of ways to collect things that would be very simple, that would just clasp onto their, visor in the car. But behind the scenes, you don't see a lot of them beforehand. because you're in a green room, they call it, or whatever color it is these days. So you're back there and they'll do a few minutes. You'll meet them almost right before the segment. It becomes more comfortable. Like when I was on the Today Show, which I was always on quite a bit with Hoda and Kathy Lee, who was a hoot. We had developed a chemistry, if you will, and you develop that the more you're on. But these people are, it's business. They're funny. But when the show starts and the lights are on, they take on their personas, who are really them. And particularly, as I said, Kathy Lee and Hoda. I mean, I'd always have something to drink at the end of my segments for Kathy Lee and Hoda because they love drinking. So, I would finish one. Like I remember one of my first ones was at the end, knowing they like white wine. So I said, okay, ladies, I've got one more that's going to really, I think, be of interest to all of you out there. And I said, white wine will get red wine out. And they said, are you kidding? And it's true. Red wine does get white wine out. So I showed them how to get red wine stains out with white wine and salt. And it was like this magical moment. I mean, because Kathy Lee thought I was just going to say, drink it from the bottle.
So I'm taking notes on this, by the way. because
okay, well, I'll send you my book.
That is so good to know.
It's all there.
And by the way, Julie, I just have to mention this because it's going to come out. I was doing another show earlier, and I was in the restaurant business for a long time. One of the jobs that I did, I was a captain. I made tableside Caesar salads. I have a killer recipe, by the way.
I love Caesar salads.
And also open bottles of wine and that kind of stuff. And he was talking about the fact he had, 60 bottles of wine on a rack in his apartment, even though he doesn't drink wine. And I said, well, make sure that they all have a cork. You don't want a twist top up there. And he said, oh, no, twist tops are fine. They're just as good as a cork. Tell me that's incorrect. I've always believed that to be incorrect. Do you have any idea?
Well, I'm not a sommelier, but I am a drinkier.
You can spell sommelier probably even.
Don't test me right now, okay? But yes, of course I can. Of course I can. But I'm with you. I like corks. I don't know. There's also just the whole act of popping the cork versus a twist. I mean, it's I'm drinking soda if I'm doing it that way. So I went to a party though.
The cork is a much better seal. I mean, let's just be honest.
It is. And it's just like I said, the whole act of doing it. And you can use those corks for so many other things, which I, as part of my Accidental Housewifely days, I would, repurpose them for, little dinner cartons and things for your earring posts, which you guys don't need, I appreciate, but for we women. So, but yes, I'm with you. I screw tap, I want the good old cork.
There is a tradition that goes with opening a bottle of wine at a table.
Yes.
And it doesn't include, let's see if we do this and then, yeah, okay. Yeah, it smells fine here.
There's no satisfying pop.
There's nothing, none of that. There's no pomp. There's no circumstance. It's like, it's all part of the show.
And also, I sometimes cut myself on it because they're, my delicate little hands here. But so I'm with you.
So
but by the way,
this.
I want you, excuse me, go on.
Where does box wine fall into this category?
Box wine's good for a boat. Because you don't have to worry. You can just chug it and, go. And
then if the boat sinks, you can use
as a buoy.
As a buoy, yeah.
As a bottle buoy, yes. I put them as floaties under my arms like this.
Oh, remarkable. By the way, we're talking with John Verico and Julie Edelman. That's right. Edelman, right?
Edelman, like the Julian of the Patriots back when, only he's not related.
Yes, and he's no longer with the Patriots. And
correct.
Yes. And John, we need to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more with Julie because she's got a new book that's coming out.
I do.
And it's coming out here in just a couple of weeks or so. So we're going to take this break and we'll be right back. You're listening to Positive Talk with John Verico.
You're listening to Positive Talk Radio. We're going to take a short break to tell you audio and music creators about our commercial affiliate, Lyric Vids, specializing in creating amazing and engaging lyric videos. Are you looking to promote your videos in the most engaging way, but you don't have an animator and an editor? Whether you're an artist, musician, or business with a message to share, our lyric videos are designed to hook viewers and amplify your reach. Go to positivetalkradio.net positivetalkradio.net/lyricvids. That's positivetalkradio.net/lyricvids. Now to get started. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. We hope you enjoyed learning about our affiliate Lyric Vids, who specialize in creating captivating animated lyric videos. Now let's get back to the show.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with moi, Kevin McDonald. And
that
John
soundtrack is
Jericho.
one of the reasons why I love being on this show. I'm just saying.
I know, it's great. It's got a good beat.
And Julie, I've got to ask you before we get on to your new book and stuff. I got to ask you. I have always been wearing dark clothing, and one of the reasons why I wear dark clothing that I've just recently figured out is apparently I can't drink anything without spilling it on myself. How do I fix that?
I think you continue to wear dark clothing. I think it's a very simple solution. You're in trouble today. I was going to bring you back some wine, but I didn't have any to pop. But yes, keep in the dark clothing, my friend. Or don't wear any. Well, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother thing. You wouldn't want to see that. No, that would be bad. So John, do you have any? Before we get on to the new topic, any other questions you might have for Julie?
Julie, you said that you were a lifestyle expert. How did you develop? I mean, how did you become known as a lifestyle expert?
Well, it was
people want to know how do you become popular? How do you become the recognized expert for stuff?
Well, it's sort of just, and I mean that when I say accidentally, my trajectory of life has been sort of accidental. I mean, I was even when I was old enough to understand this, my mother told me I was an accident. I was not planned. So it has been sort of.
Geez, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, it's good to know, and she kept me anyway. But I was in advertising. I had always enjoyed creating slogans and doing things of that sort. And then when I had my son, I was trying to think too of different things I could do. And I actually wrote this kids book called Once Upon a Recipe. And it was really fun because I was trying to teach kids it was great for family activities. It's math skills, it's reading skills. And I was asked one day, they found me somehow, to go on CBS. And I think it was CBS, no, NBC, with Brian Gumbel. I think that was my first appearance. And he said, talk to me. How do I get my kids to eat green vegetables? And I had this clever, I said, mix it with other colors and make them think they're, making something fun. But then from there, for some reason, people started to call me and said, can you talk about this? Can you talk about that? Because I guess I was semi-engaging, and I think you've noticed in me, I have a sense of humor, but I was also relatable because I was a mom, and so that's where the lifestyle sort of began to happen. So I went from food because I wasn't a chef. I mean, I was just being a mom trying to think of creative ways to keep my son nourished and somewhat healthy, and to do it very simply. But then they started to say, hey, The View actually started to talk to me and say, hey, can you come on and do a segment about, I was sharing before, different ways to organize coupons, to organize your makeup, to organize this. And it's not rocket science doing these things. But I always like to come up with sort of a different angle to it, which is why eventually when the Accidental Housewife came to be, I didn't want to do your basic organizing because that was not who I am. So I would use atypical ways to organize my jewelry, to keep it from untangling. I would use a straw and put the necklace part, the links through that and close them. So John, it sort of was an accident because of the book, then opening this whole new world. And I was thrilled because, as I've shared before, I wanted to be on TV and to be a news person. This wasn't news, but it was information to use.
But I'm glad we got you to talk about that initial book, because that's kind of where it started, and that's what I wanted to try to bring that out. And is that book still available?
It is. You can go to Amazon for that too. It's The Accidental Housewife: How to Overcome Housekeeping Hysteria.
No, the kids book.
Oh, the kid. I don't know.
It needs to be.
Well, thank you. And you know what, Kevin? I want you, because of your voices, I want you to be the person who talks about the little people, because you sound like some of these characters.
I can do that.
I like that. It would be a lot of fun.
But and the other thing that I wanted to mention, and for all women out there, you were born and raised at a time. By the way, when I asked my mom about my dad's reaction when she said that they were having me, and her reaction was, well, he wasn't too upset in any event.
Our parents should get together.
I know. But in any
Your brother
event,
was known as Oh Crap.
He's Irish, is he?
Actually, my brother was born in the bedroom and in bed with her, and I think she thought she had gas. I don't know.
Oh, my grandmother thought my mother wanted a daughter. She already had a son. Okay. And so then when my brother was born and my grandmother found out it was a boy, she said, "Oh crap," because she thought it was supposed to be a girl. And she thought that meant my mother was going to keep trying until she had a girl, and she didn't want more than 2 grandchildren.
Okay. So how did the cycle stop? Can I ask that question? How did she not continue?
Oh, because she didn't want a girl; she wanted boys.
Okay.
It was my grandmother's assumption that she wanted one of each.
Grammys have that influence over mothers, as mothers have their influence over. Okay, so should I call you a crap from now on?
Oh, that would be my kid brother. I'm not Oh Crap.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're Oh Who. You're Oh Who.
But the point I was trying to make,
sorry, you guys are just
long ago,
we segued again.
Yes, is that you were a contemporary to people like Barbara Wawa, that's Barbara Walters, by the way, and Katie Couric, and they were considered trailblazing women.
Correct.
Because it wasn't the thing. You used to have a chef, his name was Graham Kerr, and he was the Galloping Gourmet. And he was a dude who drank a lot of wine, and which is how we ended up, I guess, losing his show. He drank too much wine. But women were not considered either viable or sellable as and so you were one of that group that broke through the glass ceiling. Did you feel like you were breaking through a glass ceiling?
At the time, I'm not sure I did. What I felt more was that I was connecting with women whose voices weren't being heard. They were not being seen as having to struggle being the mom and being a career woman and being all these other roles. I was on the cusp of that change. Barbara Walters,
they had to make a choice before that, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was one or the other. You couldn't do both.
And I had those old-fashioned values of sorts, which is why I eventually left the corporate world, because I didn't like it when I'd come home and my son would reach for the nanny and not me. I said, he didn't ask to come into this world. I want him to reach for me. And so that's when I gave up corporate world. And that's when the Once Upon a Recipe book, I decided to go in a different direction where I would be true to the values that were important. So was I a trailblazer? Unintentionally, because it made sense. And I also, being a marketing person, saw that this was a void, that women weren't being spoken to in a certain way and connecting. So the timing was good. It was before, like I said, I was like right in the middle between that generation of Barbara Walters and where we are now. Now, women don't feel they're making a choice. My generation felt we were making a choice. And that's why the Accidental Housewife was a perfect persona for me to just embrace all of these struggles, but also the strengths that I felt I had as a woman, as a caretaker, and as somebody who wanted to still have a life of my own, which was professional.
I sense another book coming down the road, and that one is going to be The Accidental Trailblazer.
Well, I like that. Okay. All right, I'll get on that one after.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
That is, and that's why
I only asked 10%, for that.
That's all. And what do you want, Kevin? How much do you need?
I'll do it. Like most things, I'll do it for free. Yeah, let me go.
Just wear dark shirts and bring the wine with the corks.
Exactly. I did want to mention that if you're a guy out there or a lady that does not have kids and you don't understand what it's like, I have a friend, her name is Mary Jackson. Every time I talk to her, she's either taking a kid someplace, bringing a kid home, making dinner, cooking, doing something, making them happy, making her husband happy, she is juggling so many balls in the air. I don't know how you guys do it. It's beyond me. And so
Well,
congratulate every
Truly
woman
amazing.
who is going down that road. And even single moms, it's even worse.
yeah. And we were going to do a radio show called Shuttle Time. And it was about shuttling kids from here to there and how to occupy and get it done. And you're right, we're running a corporation when you think about it.
You are.
And unfortunately, it's not looked upon. Even nowadays, it's not. And there's still career women trying to, younger women, millennials, what have you, trying to juggle it all. But you're trying to do everything. You're the person getting them to, you're the chauffeur, you're the planner, the scheduler, you're bringing in income. So you're the CEO, CFO. And, you wear every hat in every role. And women do this, though, fairly well. I don't know, it's instinctual for we. I mean, with all due respect to you gentlemen, men are good at staying focused on one task at a time. Women are multitaskers. Maybe because we have to be. I don't know. But it is something, and I thank you, whether it's a trailblazer or an accidental housewife or whatever it is, we just have this capacity, though, to be able to juggle and get it all done. But we also feel guilty if we don't. Whereas I think that's the difference. That's changing a little bit now about guilt, because we recognize that we're human beings. I think women today, younger women, are given more latitude to not do it all well. And there's so many more things available to help them day to day and not be scorned for not doing this or that. It's sort of more accepted.
I have a suggestion on how to eliminate or cut down divorces in this country. You want to hear it?
I can't wait.
Okay. If you are the male and the king of your castle and you come home and you watch your TV after work and you've done another good job and during your day and you brought home the bacon and stuff, and then it's time to go to bed and your wife drags her sorry butt up into the bed and can hardly move because she is so tired from all the things she's done that day, maybe you want to think about what it is that she's been up to all day. And instead of asking her to do, like something more intent, you could.
What could that be?
You could maybe
dinner.
Yeah. You could maybe take
cookies?
out the garbage. Cookies and
a glass of milk
and some whipped cream. And never mind. But maybe you could, take out the garbage. Maybe you could have a volunteer to do some of the things that she's been doing, or at least find out what they are. And I'll bet you she'd be a hell of a lot happier with you.
I would agree with that.
I will tell you that is the secret of our 39 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
Is that we split the chores.
I thought you said we split.
No,
there's the secret.
No, that's my job. That's my line.
We stay out of each other's hair most of the day.
That's right.
But no, in all seriousness, we split our chores. We take turns doing stuff, and that's the secret. Happy wife means happy life.
Yeah, and I think things have changed. Excuse me, Kev. My son's 30, and he doesn't expect a woman to do the things that although he was my former husband, I think was a little bit more aware of the fact that I was working, but there were still certain roles that he expected a woman to do versus he to do. I think there is a blur now, a much more of a blur, because now even when they go on a date from the get-go, they might be paying the female. The good news back in my day was the guy paid, and I like that. He would open the door. So there are things that have changed, which I think are good. Some, which I think, I'm sort of the old fashioned. I like the old romance of a man buying me dinner or taking me out back in the day, or whatever else the gentlemanly parts of that were.
And by the way, we're talking with Julie Edelman and John Verico. We'll be right back. It would have been nice in my day if somebody would have let me take them out and pay. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. You know. John Bellico is with us, and I don't know who the hell I am, but Julie Edelman is our guest today, and you're just phenomenal. You know that?
Oh, thank you, Lottie. I love the accent, by the way.
That's very nice.
You're
See
so
that?
inspirational.
Good afternoon to you. And
Oh,
you too,
that's so
John Boy.
nice.
You're
Oh,
so
she's so
inspirational.
good.
Scusa? I'm going to go Italian now. Scusa? Let's go around the world in voices.
Oy vey. Hey, look,
But
let's
then-
talk about the other book. What you got
okay.
coming up?
The book that's coming out. Let's talk about it.
Well, I'm excited. It came out. It's out now. It's the Accidental Sisterhood. Oh, I just happen to have a copy.
Amazing.
Excellent.
What a marketer you are.
Well, I mean, my whole house is wallpapered in it. You can't go into a room without seeing. I mean, this is so exciting because I'm not sure you are aware, but this book came out of a devastating health diagnosis, which fortunately turned out to be taken care of. And I turned that diagnosis, that detour of my life, another detour, much like love, marriage, and baby carriage, into a dream. And the dream was to write this book, which I've always wanted to write, not when I was in diapers, perhaps, but in the adult part of my life. I've been wanting to write a romance thriller, and that's what you saw. That's what this is.
Oh, this is so cool. And one of the characters is my son's name.
Which one?
Sean.
Oh, okay. Well, you never know in life. My characters have names that could go many different directions. But yes, Sean is the key. It's because, hopefully Sean, your Sean, is a little bit nicer because he's your son. I'm sure he's delightful than this Sean, who is a little bit deceitful, albeit a great charmer, a romantic, and somebody initially who wouldn't fall in love with.
Well, Julie, I appreciate that thought, but our children are the product of two different people.
So I'm told.
So the accidental fatherhood would be, I don't know whether I'm actually the kid's dad or not. You know what I mean?
Oh my.
We can do some DNA testing should you like to. There are ways.
No, he's what is called a pretty boy, and I'm not, so I don't know. So
you're pretty to me. You look pretty to me.
We'll just kind of let that lie. Hi, Sean, how you doing? He ain't talking to me anymore. Anyway, so. But I
was just thinking about all of his friends and everything else are just going to start kind of calling him pretty boy. you just doomed him with a nickname for the rest of his life.
Oh, I've heard that from. Well, he's one of those young men. And see now, John, men today feel like he's 34, and men today they grew up in a different time. He was a pretty boy, and I asked him one time, because he texted everybody. And I said, why are you texting everybody? Why don't you call people? And he said, because I can talk to 2 or 3 or 4 girls at the same time and they don't know it.
It sounds like Sean. You know what? Maybe your son is this guy. What does he look like? I need to see pretty boy's face.
I'll have to look it up. But I said, so what was it like when you've asked your first girl out for a date? And he looks at me and he goes, well, I've never had to do that. I said, you've never had to ask a girl out on a date? He said, no, they always ask me. I was like, oh, geez.
Oh, my. he's missed out on one of the, the greatest pleasures in life is having somebody actually say yes.
Well, maybe he's afraid they'll say no, so he's playing it safe.
Oh no, they don't say no. I've this is probably too much information, but I've come home to my apartment because he was staying with me for a period of time, and we had a air mattress, and there were 2 lumps in the air mattress in the living room when I came in, and it was somebody I had never met.
I was
And
about to say, was it moving?
Wasn't moving at that time, and it was that happened on several different occasions. So,
well, he's a healthy young man. He is.
There you go.
Indeed. But now,
He's
just
feeling his oats.
And then some.
But to finish off that story, he was always told that there are certain things that a young man needs to do to protect himself, and apparently he didn't buy into that. So now he's married with a child that came during video games and pizza.
I'm not going to ask which video games or what toppings were on the pizza, but this could all lead to clues of all.
Yeah. So everybody how it works. Make sure that you take care of yourself so that you don't bring a child into the world inadvertently.
Yes. Good. That's excellent advice. I will share in my book, there are no unwanted children that came in by having those kinds of errors played.
Good.
There are other errors, but that ain't one of them. So,
isn't the human experience just full of wonder and magic and all the things that can get screwed up at any given time, and it can be different for all of us?
Yeah, and that's sort of what was so much fun too, writing a fiction book, because I could take it. I call it faction. It's a lot of fiction, but it's rooted in my life experiences. And when you write a book that's fiction, you can give a lot of what might be true and make additions to it, but you can also make whatever you want happen with the characters, with your own life. And so your imagination is unfiltered, which to me is was a hoot to do it. And probably for you too, Kevin, with your imagination, and John, a little bit of you is with your oh no, or what was your brother's name?
Oh crap.
Oh crap. We could go all over with that.
Well, and I am so glad that now a lot of authors that I've talked to that wrote a novel or a fiction or in one of those categories, they'll tell me it just came to them, that it was like magic. It just appeared, and the storyline just kind of appeared. How did it work for you? Was it like pulling teeth, or did it just kind of show up?
Well, I love the experience of writing. I can't wait to write the next book. It's going to be The Accidental Housewife will be a housewife. See, I can't let go of that either. The Accidental Sisterhood, I'm looking to be a series of books. So this is book 1. So what I did was I knew the name, The Accidental Sisterhood, and I knew what the ending was. And that's all I knew. So I stared blankly on my iPad and didn't know how the heck I was going to fill all those pages. But then it just starts to happen. And the more you write, it sort of just unfolds. There's not a magic to it, but every day I would start and you go through rewrites and rewrites and rewrites. But the characters, I first had to figure out the key character, who's Jules Malone, who is obviously a little bit of me or a lot of me, and only close friends know how much of me it is. And they know that they cannot tell if they want to see their next birthday. But at any rate, but it just, once I had me figured out, I sort of took the trajectory of my life in some ways, which gives you sort of the plot outline. But then the other women in it, and Sean, Sean is a character that isn't 100% the real Sean who he's after. He's named after or created after. But it was, all I could say was it was really fun. And for me, it was cathartic too, because I was going through radiation treatment at the time for breast cancer. And it gave me something that really motivated me, that said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And I have now, there's no reason not to do this. And I have within me, I have a choice. I can sit here and be upset, or I can take this as an opportunity versus an obstacle to go after something I've always wanted to do and just never made the time for. And so, that again is large part of my message. Even when I talk now about my book, it's not so much the book, it's about trying to empower women to go after dreams, whether it's a devastating diagnosis. I was lucky I caught it early by having a self-exam, which I want all you women out there to do. It can save your life. But I took that diagnosis and said, here's a moment. Let me really embrace something. And I did that. And it's been so exciting because the response to the book is not only that, thank God it's great, it's getting 4 or 5-star reviews on Goodreads and all that, but that I'm helping other women recognize there's another pathway that they can navigate. And again, it's very individual how we navigate that, and we don't want to judge, but you can turn something like this, and it could be a divorce, it could be empty nesting, a detour in your life, and turn it into something positive, which is like Positive Talk Radio, what we're talking about. And really, I'm loving helping people, and them saying to me, even though your book's not about breast cancer, it's in there. It shows that, yes, I can't write a book, but maybe I should take that cooking course that I've always wanted. So it's small things that just keep you present, keep you positive. And I like to do it all, as I think with a sense of humor. So I bring that into it as well. And so that's been a real joy of this whole new chapter, this new journey, and the Accidental Sisterhood, bringing a new community together.
And that is one of the foundational things about Positive Talk Radio is that everybody needs to find, why are you here? What is your passion? If you don't know today, you need to find out, and you need to go in search of. And John's gone down that road. I've gone down that road.
Yeah, and it's a long road, and it's not a direct road. I mean, it's got, as I said, I call them detours. I try to look at life with positive words versus, the end. It's a detour. Whether it's a devastating diagnosis, I call it, yes, it was, but it was a challenge to figure out how I navigate it. And at the end of the day, it's really up to us to navigate it. You can't really rely on other people. They can be your support system, but we're our own selves. We sleep, at the end, the thoughts are going through our head. How can I get through this? And also to surround yourself with people who support that you may need time to figure this out. There's no timeline on figuring out how to get to your next chapter, but every day a little bit, just think about it. What if I did this? Why not? Versus, no, I can't. And, the ifs are too big. So, but we all need support systems. And, that's why in my book too, The Power of Sisterhood is so important, because these women come together to unravel all of the deceits that good old Sean, not your son, caused them. And it's really quite fun too, the way they do it. It'll blow
Julie,
you away.
You made an interesting reference as you talk about, that long road and the detours and all of that. But if you think about it, if you're taking a drive anywhere, if it's a long straight road, it is boring as all get out.
Great point.
Right?
Great
What
point.
makes it interesting, what makes our journey through life interesting, are all of those detours and those side roads and those little adventures that may pop up as a surprise, or they may be planned. But those are the things that make life worthwhile. And yes, some of the adventures aren't as pleasant as they could be, but there's always a way out.
And if you take them as learning, as learning opportunities, a friend has said, and excuse me, Kevin, it's sort of like a kaleidoscope of life. It keeps changing, but the core is the same. Yes. We just keep expanding, and the colors change and who we are, but our core selves don't really change. But sometimes they get detoured, to your point. And if you can embrace those again and find those again, which is sort of fun and can be hard too, because sometimes it takes really going through a self-identity process or self-awareness process and saying, you know what, I did some stuff wrong here, But the more as you get older, the more authentic to whom you are, you can show. I think that pathway becomes easier to at least say, even if I fail, and I don't use the word fail, even if it doesn't work. I hate those words, failure, because no, you've tried. It's not failing. You tried. So I'm sorry, Kev.
You either succeed or you learn.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say let's have a brand new experience. And John, would you take us to break, please?
Well, there we go.
John, are you there?
He's frozen in time.
You guys froze.
We're frozen.
Oh, you're back. Would you like to take us to break, please?
I've got nothing, guys.
I'll take you to break. You want me to take you?
What do we got? Oh, is it time to go to a break? Oh,
yes.
we have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more
you.
of Positive Talk Radio with Kevin McDonald and our special guest, Julie Edelman.
They have your eyes. They have your ears. They have your smile. Now all they need is a little more of your time. Make a difference in your child's life, because anyone can be a father. It takes time to be a dad.
And welcome back to Positive Talk. John, you keep moving back and forth like that. That is the weirdest thing. I don't know how you do it.
I have no idea why my camera is doing that.
It is the coolest thing. It's like from the Matrix or something. So Julie Edelman is our guest. And by the way, you are so enlightened and so positive about the things that you do and the person that you are, that you exude that with every being of your
You're giving me goosebumps. You're giving me goosebumps. Thank you. It's just it's who I am, and I'm just thrilled you feel that way, and I hope that, like I said, that helps other people and I can inspire them. So, but thank you. That's so sweet.
You exemplify positive energy, Julie. Thank you so much for
thank
being
you.
who you
thank
are
you.
and for sharing yourself with the world.
Well, it's I guess I'm not shy, as I think Kevin has noted. But I am a pretty private person, and I never was big on social media and all that, but I've recognized you have to be in order to professionally, not personally, because I want to keep my life private. But in terms of, doing this and trying to help women both embrace their dreams and also with breast cancer, having gone through that, to help them recognize they need to go for mammograms, to do selfies, it's all just really, really important that, I can help. And, I've got a platform to do it, and I want to do that. It just makes me feel good. And I hope, thank you for letting me share my story here and get that word out. And now I know the kinds of wines you like, and, not to get a twist. I do have a really good one, because you know how they say when life gives you lemons, you should make lemonade. Well, do you know Ron Tater Salad White? Do you know the comedian?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I loved his. And when I had to speak at Moffat's board of directors meeting, I was honored to be the speaker. And I ended and I said, there's the expression, as Ron Tater White would say, Tater Salad White. When, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And then you take that lemonade and you find a friend who has vodka and have a party. And, and to me, that's what it is. It's about bringing it all on, bringing it all together, and making the most of what you can in this precious life that we have.
I like that better than the version I heard, which was when life gives you lemons, squirt them in your enemy's eyes.
Vodka, babe, vodka. Give me the vodka. Are you both vodka drinkers?
Maybe.
On occasion. And you can screw those, so to speak.
Yes. Now, just in because Ron White is kind of semi-retired now, his favorite one of mine, and I use it all the time because it reminds me of me, and that is, the police told me I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability.
He's great. I love him. I mean, is he retired? I didn't know that.
He the funny story about him was he was always a bourbon drinker.
Okay.
And then he quit that. He bought a tequila company and was drinking that and thought tequila was more healthy for him. And then he figured out through when he got into COVID and he wasn't making the big bucks and stuff. And then I think he is now trying to, hopefully successfully, trying to quit drinking and so that he can have a
So
long.
he was a little too much into the
Well, when
buffet.
when it was part of his shtick, so he would go on every night and he performed a lot. He did like 250 dates a year,
right.
and
he
so,
didn't have the fake stuff in the glass.
No, that was real. As a matter of fact, he used to say, these people should be buying my booze at least for all the publicity I'm giving them. But he funny man. I hope he lives a long.
He is funny.
Long, great life.
Hysterical. Love this stuff.
Yes, and so Julie, we got to ask you because it's important to ask you. You know what your future is in life. Where do you see yourself in 20 years?
Talking to you like this.
Perfect. You're more than welcome to be here in 20 years.
Well, no, but actually I do though. I hope I have a new message to help inspire and help people. And then I've written maybe the Trailblazer or the Octogenarian or whatever it might be, the Accidental, Centurion. What's 100 years? Yeah, I can't even think of the word right now. But
can I tell you something though? The message that you've got right now, what you said earlier in this program, is so damned important, and so many people don't get it yet. That we need to keep saying it until more people get it.
Which is that message? I gave you a lot today. I'm sorry.
Well, you don't remember what you said?
My memory is not as good as it used to be.
No, take care of each other. Have hope. Be kind to one another. Enjoy and use your experiences for the best thing that you can, because they're your experiences, yet they can be instructive to somebody else. I got all of that from you.
Well, no, you didn't, because your whole line is positivity and do it one venture, one experience, one story at a time. So I think you're doing that every day, and that's why I'm thrilled to be a part of this. I think you're spreading that word the way it should be spread, and we need more of you two doing it.
We know the fun thing is that I got John involved. He doesn't know what he's in for yet, but I got him involved, and I'm really excited about his collaboration. So, John, welcome to the team, by the way, again.
Thank you.
Welcome, John. And I hope I can join you all again, because this is so much fun.
Are you kidding me?
I'll bring the wine next time.
Hey, there's an idea.
Or vodka.
No.
As long as there's no H in it.
I'm not going there. Explain.
Whining with an H.
No H from me. You're not going to get no H from me.
Dude, I don't know what you were talking about right then when you said the H in it, but now I get
I know.
it.
I was thinking.
Oh, you don't look at you don't have a freaking dictionary here.
Forget about it.
Oh, geez.
Don't forget, that's where I grew up, in that neighborhood. I mean, I'm an Italian from Brooklyn.
I'm a Jersey girl, so we're not close. And you're a Seattle man.
I'm from Seattle my whole life, so we don't talk we don't think we have any accents at all. I don't know whether
none of us do.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
I had to work mine out when I was a broadcast journalist in the Navy.
You're in the Navy. One of my characters is a Navy intelligence officer in the book. She's only 27.
Oh, she's a good character.
She is a good character.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Well, John was in public relations and all that kind of stuff for 40 years. So
cool. And you've got this great book series that you also, correct, are part of, with all the great quotes of different people.
The Art of Connection book series.
Yes.
365 days of quotes, and the new one coming out for 2025 is 365 days of abundance quotes.
Abundance.
And you can go on Amazon and get all the previous ones. This year for 2024, it was the 365 days of gratitude quotes. And you'll find me in 2 pages in that book.
Woo!
And I'm just grateful that the two of you consented to be on my show. You have no idea, Julie, I'm the luckiest man alive. Did you know that?
I can see why. I mean, you're doing what you love. You're passionate about it. And that is being lucky. And for me, my son gives me the other greatest joy. And really all of these things, while you're lucky, while I'm lucky, I look at things, even my breast cancer, as a gift, because I would never have gotten here if I hadn't gone through that. And that's why if you can turn these things, the messages we're all giving, these obstacles in life, or detours, or whatever you want to call them, into finding what that little nugget of positivity or goodness or a gift is. That's a really special thing, because all we have is this moment, and we need to embrace it.
And the one thing that I want to just add to what both you and Kevin have said is that what too many people fail to realize when they think that they're lucky or they think that they're blessed is that it's because you deserve it.
You're right. Yeah. Well,
You earned
that's
it.
With that,
amen.
thanks, kids. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin at kmmedia.pro.